Hey class, I'm going to talk to you about what you learn in modules 7, 8, 9, and 10 and how they apply to the real world. Previously I did a video on modules 1 through 3, then I did a video on modules 4 through 6, and now I'm going to do the final video, which is incorporating modules 7 through 10, and I'm just going to share with you how what you learned in each module is evident in the real world and how I use it in my position as a research analyst. So module 7, talking about correlations, research, correlations and causation, and how to conduct and interpret correlational analyses. So I do this every single day. Again, the golden rule of statistics is correlation does not equal causation. So I'm always using correlated data. I use t-tests, ANOVAs, multiple linear regression, multiple regression analyses, all of these to find correlations because we want to know what's significant and what isn't and what relates to one another. So my example for this is a salary equity study, and we want to see how variables correlate with one another to produce the salary level that professors have. So how does gender, ethnicity, years at the university, the level of education, how do all those correlate with the salary one is making? Which ones are significant and which one are not? So when we find the results of the multiple linear regression, we can say the following variables, when accounted for, are highly significant in predicting salary for an individual. Module 8. Looking at raw data and how it should be prepared for an analysis. This is a huge and important piece. It's almost the most important piece of any study. You can't run an analysis and produce confident results if your data is dirty and not cleaned up. So one of the most important things in research is having clean data. You are very respected if you are known to always have clean data because it's sound and accurate and it can be trusted. So the way that works for me is when I'm working on this salary equity study, I can't just get the data from human resources and just run with it. I have to look at it, I have to analyze it, I have to clean it. Some things you have to account for are filtering out the deceased. What if some professors based on your cohort have passed away? You have to omit them from the study, so I have to go look and run a frequency check on the deceased and see if any come up in my list. Some you have to look at, did they transfer out of the university or come back in? The data is very dirty and it's got to be cleaned and prepared correctly. What is their salary like? Do they have special positions where they make more than others and there's a justification for it? So all of these things, it takes weeks upon weeks for a large study to clean that data, and that's how I do that every time I work on a big project at my job. Because once your data is clean, you can run your analyses and your data will show it. You will see the variances within your measures, within your analyses will make sense, and you'll start to see that it's all based because you have sound, clean data. Alright, Module 9. Ethical concerns. Well, there's nothing more ethical than revealing how much people make. That's a big no-no. So when we're doing a study on salary, it's highly confidential. There's masking. We cannot give out names. We cannot give out any identifying information. We have to keep it all masked. We put in observation numbers instead of names. So we would say observation 112 versus so-and-so. There are lawsuits that can happen if you give out personal, private information. So we are always on the alert to make sure any work that we do, if it's for public consumption, even within internal constituents, whether or not we are in violation or if we are staying within the ethical standards of research, institutional research, to provide this data. So we have to monitor ourselves and always be aware what we're sending out. And that's a daily habit that we have to have, or else we wouldn't be employed very long in this position. Lastly, Module 10, implementing the APA guidelines regarding formatting and citations in a research proposal. One of my favorite things. You guys need to learn this. It's going to benefit you. Another side of the work I do is I conduct research and I submit it for publication. And I'll tell you what, journals are going to reject your work if it's sloppy and it's not formatted correctly and your citations are not formatted well. So to get your work published, to be considered worthy of publication in an empirical journal, your literature, your work, it needs to be formatted and cited correctly. And that's a huge piece, and we follow the APA guidelines. So as you do this in your paper, just remember this is one of the most important pieces of research. If I go and do this amazing research paper and I find something that is that the public should know, and I want to put it in a journal and I submit it to the journal and I say, you guys have to publish this, but they can't understand my writing and they can't understand the flow of my paper, and they say, hey, our journal has specific guidelines you need to follow and a format that you need to follow. You need to have an intro, a literature review, a methods section, a results chapter, and finally a discussion piece. And this all needs to be 2,000 words or less. And I say, no, forget all that. Just take what I've got and put it out there. They're going to say, we can't. You have to follow these guidelines. And it starts with APA. So right now I'm working on a literature, a publication, and it's taking a while because I have to make sure not only what I'm writing is written well and very clean and has clarity and thought, but I also have to ensure that my formatting is correct and that I'm citing correctly in APA, and that the structure of my paper is also formatted so that it can be accepted into a journal. Okay, so that wraps up modules 7 through 10 and how I use what you learn every single day at my job. I hope you're having a good time learning about this. Psych 520 is coming up very soon. Don't worry about that right now. Stay focused on your Module 10 work and polishing up your research proposal. I look forward to reading them all, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.